what it do, baby? Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Vegeta Saiyan Army, where we try our best to make Vegeta great again. Thank you for watching, subscribing, liking. Go to the Facebook group Vegeta Saiyan Army. Today, we're talking about a leader that everybody should be playing, Syn Shenron. When it comes to budget decks, the best decks you can play are Green Goku, Syn Shenron, and Vegex, amongst others, but those three really catch my attention, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about why you should be playing Syn Shenron. So when he attacks, he looks at the top 5, and you add 1 Shadow Dragon, right? And then you shuffle the deck, and what's crazy about him is I love leaders that have good abilities on the front side and the back side. And in his front, he stands up one of your Shadow Dragons at the end of the turn. And then when your life is at 3 or less, or you have a yellow unison card with a specified cost of 4 in play, you can draw 2 and untap 1 of your energy, which is sick, because you can draw 2, untap 1, obviously that's amazing. The backside is going to have, when he attacks, he draws a card. He doesn't have to search dragons anymore, which is great. He just has an inherent drawing. And then at the end of your turn, you choose all of your Shadow Dragons and you put them in active mode. Once you get to turn 6, it's game over. You tap 6 energy and you play 7 Shadow Dragons with different card names. And you play them from the drop area. This is going to get better and better because they're going to be releasing more and more dragons. They're going to release the Ice Dragon and the other dudes, the other dragons. I forgot their names because it's in GT and we only saw that once. But this is going to keep getting better and better. And right now it's really good just the way it is. And what I'm going to show you guys is at the end I'm going to go over some of the expensive cards if you have them. This deck's really good. And I'm going to right now go over a budget version of the deck, which is like it's crazy. So again, the way the chain works is you play the 1-drop, and that's 1 energy. Then you tap 1 to play the 4-drop, and then you tap 1 to play the 9-drop. So it's 3 energy total. But the cool thing about it is the 1-drop, usually when I play that turn 1, he cannot be removed by any skills. So like once he's on the board, he cannot be taken out. And you can't even use cards to negate his skills because it says that this card can't be affected by your opponent's skills. So it can't even be affected by something that turns him off. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, by the way, I'm not sure. But still, he can't be KO'd, he can't be warped, he stays on the board, right? Then turn 2, you tap 1, and you play the 4-drop from the deck. Which is nuts. Like, usually when you mulligan, you want to put this card back in the deck because he does get played from the deck. I mean, it does get played from the hand, but it's more plus to do it from there. And already, he's a blocker, right? Then you go right into the 9-drop for 1 more energy, and this guy's a 30k blocker revenge. The reason I like this deck so much is because the meat and potatoes is right here. It's these 3 cards, and if something happens to the 4-drop, you draw a card. Like if he's removed or warped or whatever. And the 9-drop, if something happens to him, you draw 2 cards. And the reason this deck is so good is because a lot of people are going to be playing Green Goku, and Green Goku loves removing your shit. And this deck is a deck that doesn't care what you do, it's going to plus either way. If you want to remove them, they're going to draw 2 cards. I've seen scenarios where people have the 4-drop and the 9-drop in play, and if Goku wants to crit 2 life, then Syn Shenron is going to draw 3 cards. And it's not just that. When the 9-drop is removed, it plays the 1-drop Dragon Ball from the drop area, so you can start the chain all over again. This deck is so nasty. My friend Manny, shoutouts to him. He took it to Coco. He got top 32 with it. Huge shoutouts to him because he put this deck on the map. I was playing Green Goku, and the week before he was playing Syn Shenron against me, and I was so scared because I couldn't win any matches. My buddy Julian was testing it as well. He played 5 games with it, only won 1 with his Green Goku. I got top 16 with Green Goku, and every time I played against this deck, I just lost. Because if you remove the Syn Shenrons, they draw. And if you don't, they're just going to have a 30k blocker revenge that stands up at the end of the turn. It's so scary. It's so crazy. It's not just that. When your opponent plays a battle card, you may choose that battle card, ignoring barrier and negate its skills for the turn. Now, that can hit like an Invoker target. I think Invoker is a bad matchup for this deck because it burns life at the end. It doesn't have to attack. But just remember how crazy that ability is. It has a built-in Cold Bloodlust. Now a card like Foreseen Hit will still trigger, for example, because anything that hits the board uh, still has the when you play this card effect, right? This has to choose it, so the timing for the autos go first. But still, Sin Shenron does not once per turn, just Cold Bloodlust anything with an activate main ability to it. The next cards I want to go over is the Negative Energy 2-star balls into the Hey Shenron. The one drop works the same. This chain takes 2 energy to go on though. The Hey Shenron, when you play him, you add a Shadow Dragon back into your hand, so it kind of recycles the other ones. It swings for critical, and then you evolve into the 4-drop for free, and he stands up and has the double strike, right? So this chain is also kind of nuts because it gets you back the Shadow Dragons. The 1-drop can't be fucked with once it's on the board, and you get the 3-drop from the deck. Also, the 4-drop, you swing with critical, then you swing with double strike, and then it stands up at the end of the turn. And if somebody attacks with like OG Victory Strike or something nuts, right? If you combo with Haste Dragon and you drop a card, and that card that they're attacking with has bigger energy than what they currently have, you can just get rid of the card. If you lure a card as a Shadow Dragon and you choose one Shadow Dragon card in your hand and discard it, when this card attacks or is used in a combo, choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode with an energy cost greater than their current energy and KO it. That's sick defense. Like, it didn't need... Like, they didn't have to go that hard with this deck, and they did, and nobody's playing it. I think everyone assumed it would be a sacky deck, because everyone's used to yellow having Ritter's Warcry and all that stuff. And Sin Shenron doesn't really draw on the front. He kind of just searches the dragons. But that's good enough because these dragons are nuts. And I think everyone should be playing it. These cards are all like 10 cents, 9 cents. The 9-drop, this guy right here, the 9-drop, what is he, like 50 cents right now? He's a rare. Like, pick up your foils if you want. I got my foils, I think, for a few bucks, maybe. I think they were $1. And I just want to go up here to the next cards. Now, this is a budget version, so I'm not playing Magicabora because it's $15, but if you have it, great. Remember, Vegeta, Unison of Fury, and Belmont are cards you get in the expansion, the Universe 7 expansion Unison, right? And you can just get it on that. I actually love Vegeta more than Magicabora as it comes to finishing games, because Vegeta taps an energy, and it's dual attack double strike if you play it for 4 and minus the 3. The -1 is actually very good too if you're playing against something that swings tall or something, right? Your opponent can attack with battle cards with energy cost greater than their current energy until the end of their turn. And if you don't want to do that -1, it's great. Just play it, and if they do want to swing with something greater than their energy, you can use the Haze Shenron to KO it. The activate main to add a counter to the Vegeta is that you have to rest a card, and I'm going to go into what to rest in a second. The Belmod Self-Indulgent is great because it negates an attack, or it's a counter play that rests the card. So remember back in the day when we were playing Frieza, and we had a Crusher Ball and a Cold Bloodlust, and we didn't know what to Cold Bloodlust and what to Crusher Ball. Like, if it's a Scientist Fu, you Crusher Ball it. If it's like a Cell Chain, you Cold Bloodlust it, right? So Belmod is there to kind of Crusher Ball, something that they play that you can't really Cold Bloodlust with the dragons, right? And it's for 2 energy, and it's a relevant attacker. It's a 20k 4-drop that becomes a 2-drop if you have Vegeta in play. Now, since we're not running the 4-drop Unisons, we're running the 1-drop Goku Adventure into the Unknown. He's a 1-drop, swings, and gets critical, and self-awakens you. You take a life, and he gets 10,000, so he's a 15k critical attacker if you take your own life. This is a pretty good card if you want to self-awaken. Into the next, some great cheap cards and great auxiliary you can have in this deck is Zarbon, Emperor's Attendant, Cents. That card is mad cheap, just like my ex. Like, you can get it off of TCG for a few cents, and it's great because when you combo with it on your opponent's turn, it untaps one of your battle cards. So if you're using Syn Shenron to 30k, which has Revenge Blocker, you can block something, combo Zarbon, and stand him up again. So this is good. Like, all these 3 cards are all good against, like, if you're playing, I don't know, like a Samasu deck that's being very aggressive. Samasu is another card. When you combo with it, you can rest one of your opponent's battle cards, and then it triggers the arrival requirements to play Son Goku and hit Supreme Alliance. Um, if you've got the blue energy or not, if you've got the yellow energy, you can play the Bojack. So you can go multicolor if you'd like with Son Goku, you don't have to. Or if you want to stick to yellow, you can just simply arrival. There's actually a new Pirate Bojack that's really good. But again, I would stick to either the old Bojack or Son Goku hit Supreme Alliance if you're going multicolor. But that's just a really good option because he's a dual attacker. Or he can block twice on your opponent's turn. But what I would stick with, I just want to put that card in your radar because it's cheap and it's amazing. But really, I would use the Zarbon or the Zamasu Super Combo just because they're so good. Now, if you guys, again, this is still a budget deck. Vegeta's Final Flash, the card here in the middle, is like $2. I like running it at 1 or 2 of. Manny, the guy that was running this deck that played it so well, he top 32'd, and he played like 3 Invoker decks. Isn't that crazy, guys? Because that's like the counter deck that beats this, and he still got to top 32. He did a really good job. And Vegeta's Final Flash is great because when you combo with it and all your energy is yellow, he Cold Bloodlust something, ignoring barrier, activate battle. So if your leader card is yellow, choose up to 1 of your leader cards or battle cards, and it gets 15,000 power for duration of the battle. And if all of your energy is yellow, when you activate this card, you choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards ignoring barrier and negate its skills for the turn. The reason this is good, if they're swinging with like a triple striker, right? And you're at 3 life and they combo their whole hand, you can use Vegeta's Final Flash to turn off the triple strike, take 1 life. By the way, this is why I tell you guys to never shotgun with cards anymore, because shit like this exists. Poutine the Dark Sorcerer is amazing. It has barrier. Thankfully has unique, and you play it for free. If your leader card is yellow, when an opponent's card is switched to rest mode, so you can do that with Zamasu Super Combo. You can use it with Magic Gabora if you're playing that, but Zamasu was the way he was triggering it. So if it's switched to rest mode by one of your card skills, you may play this card from your hand for free. It has barrier and unique. So once per turn, when your opponent plays a battle card using a skill or activates a counter skill, you choose up to 1 of their battle cards and switch it to rest mode. This is sweet. Poutine is awesome. You guys should put it at 2 of maybe in your deck, maybe 3. And again, this is still a budget deck, and I know I have a secret rare here, but there's going to be a couple of shop tournaments where they just give this card out. Some of the shop tournaments are going to just give it out as, I believe, entry price, or if you do well, you can get another one that's foiled up. And this card is so sick. If you guys have been watching my videos, you know that I was playing this in Baby. It's Secret Rare Ultimate. It has Deflect and Blocker. So check it out. It's 35,000, then it's 7 energy. But check it out. You can reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1 for each card in your drop area with an energy cost of 1. This card can't be removed from your battle area by your opponent's skills. The reason this is dirty is because, like, I was using it in Baby, right? And I was playing the free 1-drops in Baby, the Dr. Mew and the Baby, and they would go to the drop area, and I would have like 6 in my drop area, and then play this guy for 1. Awaken, play the Pan Great Ape Whisperer, swing with him, and then untap him with Pan's Effect. That's one of the plays I was doing. It was so sick. And he's an infinite blocker. Well, not infinite, but when you activate this card's blocker skill, switch this card to active mode, and it gets 5,000 power less for the rest of the turn. So when you use it the first time, it'll be 30, then 25, then 20, whatever. But the deck is already so offensive or defensive that I feel like this is almost like overkill as it comes to defense. But when you do the -6, or I'm sorry, when you tap 6 energy, this is one of the cards you can play from the drop area, and it's disgusting. The rest of the deck I'm going to show you guys is going to have a lot of great 1-drops to proc this effect, right? If you don't want to use this Monster Super Combo, which is the second best super combo in a game in my opinion, you can use Counter Blast on Gohan. This card is actually insane because when you combo with him, you can draw a card if you'd like, or you can pop a 5-drop that's swinging at you. So, I don't know, if they played like a Ribrianne 5-drop for triple strike or something, Well, no, that card has barrier. It cannot have barrier, forgot. But if they're swinging with a 5-drop or below without barrier, and you combo with this card, it just gets destroyed, right? So let's say they swing with a 4-drop or a 5-drop, and they combo for a game, right? All you have to do is combo with this card, and if it has 5 or less energy, you KO it. The only condition, which doesn't really matter, is that they have to have 5 cards in rest mode. So, I don't know. Well, they have to swing with the battle card, so that's one. And how much could that card have costed? Let's say they use 3 energy and their leader's rested. That's enough, right? I would still play Samasu. Maybe you can play Samasu at 2, this guy at 2. But it helps with the 1-drop count, right? Now, if you are playing the expensive version, you can play Giru, the Dragon Ball Discoverer, or if you're playing the 2-drop Unison version with the Vegeta Unison, you can play Vegeta the Impregnable. The difference is one searches for the 1-drop, for the 4-drop Unison, one searches for the 2-drop Unison. The Vegeta searches Saiyans that are 3 or below, and the 1-drop searches for with an energy cost of 1. I'm sorry. When this card is played, look up to 5 cards at the top of your deck, add 1 yellow Unison card with a specified cost of 4, or 1 yellow battle card with an energy cost of 1 among them. So if you're playing a lot of 1-drops and you're playing the 4-drop Magikabura, Ginyu is your guy, Vegeta's there if you're playing the cheap version, which I'm using. And again, like, Vegeta Unison is so good. I guess you lose an edge defensively if you don't have Michikabura, but the deck is already so defensive. Wouldn't you want a crazy finisher like Vegeta that taps an energy and it's dual attack double strike? And Unisons have basically deflect and barrier because they can't be chosen. So I feel like situationally Vegeta could be better. I feel like people are probably running 2 Vegetas and 4 Michikaburas even in the competitive version of the deck. Another couple of 1-drops I want to talk about is Master Roshi Forged of Will. What I love to do with the Vegeta Unison is I would negate with Master Roshi Forged of Will, so it counts as a negate, right? And that's utility to keep my Vegeta alive. And then on my turn, I rest the Roshi to give the Vegeta Unison a counter. The reason that's so great is because my opponent can either waste an attack to get rid of Roshi, the 1-drop, or leave it on board, and then my Unison is just gonna plus off of taking advantage of the Roshi and resting it every turn. So either way, you're plussing in a way. Another card that nobody has been using. Again, this deck is really good against hand destruction because if they destroy your guys, you do draw cards. And the Master Roshi and Master Shen Martial Meisters, if you guys are new and don't know about this card, or if you guys have taken a break from the game and don't remember these guys, they're insane because they have barrier. And when you rest both of them, and they're both in play, you draw 2 cards, and they're 6,000 with barrier. So it only takes 1 card to put them over 10,000, or 1 super combo to put them over 15,000. They're easy to defend, and they're hard to get rid of because of their barrier. If you protect them, like you're playing like Protect the Queen, you're gonna keep having incremental advantage over your opponent. And it's great to have these 1-drops on the board like Master Roshi, because it gives counters to your Unison, and also a great counter to this deck is Remote Serious Bomb, because it doesn't put your cards in the drop area, it puts your guys in the warp, your Shadow Dragons that is. And if you have 1-drops and they use Remote Serious Bomb, you can simply use one of them to KO, because Remote Serious Bomb is an actual problem. It's a really good card against this deck. And there's a lot of utility for the 1-drops that I just love showing you guys, because I want to put this in everyone's radar and show you guys that there's answers to hand control. I know hand control is crazy right now, and this deck is one of them. And people think it's very sacky, and I guess it could be, but if you play the deck the way it's supposed to be, this deck is actually awesome. And all of these cards, again, I'm going to say it on every page, they're cents. I think Master Roshi's like 20 cents. I think both of them. Into the next cards, if you guys want to play the competitive version of this deck, and you guys open these, like I own the Great Ape, Bardock, Raiders, Warcry, obviously I would play that on the deck. It would make it, is it going to make it stronger? Obviously. But can you play it without these cards? Absolutely. Absolutely. Any good player should know how to play against his bad matchups. So if you're playing Green Goku, this deck can be problematic against you, so you should know how to play against it. If you want to beat Green Goku, you should play this deck a lot and find a way to make yourself even better against your good matchups. And your bad matchup would be Invoker. We have a very cool triangle going on right now. So what you should do is pick a deck that beats something major. For example, this has a good matchup against Green Goku, and a lot of people are going to start playing Green Goku, right? So you should get good at this deck against Green Goku, get even better against it, and then you should practice against your bad matchup, which is Invoker, because Invoker doesn't have to attack, right? It's just going to burn your life away. So learn your matchups, know how to pivot into an aggressive strategy against some, know how to pivot into a control strategy against some. Again, if you have the money, these cards, like Michikaburo is like 16 bucks, Vegeta, the Prideful Transformation was like 10 bucks last time I looked. Grade Bardock was like 20 bucks, so he's not part of my budget deck list. I just wanted to show you guys these cards in case you have the money, or if you want to run this deck competitively, which I think you could with the budget version, by the way. But these cards are very good to add to the deck. So if you guys have any questions, if you guys know anything I got wrong here, is there anything you would add to help anybody out? If there's any new people, if you're a beginner, if you want to know about this deck, ask me. If you're an experienced player, that if you have any input, negative or positive, tell us, because we want to learn off of you. We're trying to help each other out. If I taught even one of you guys something here, if I showed you guys even one thing, I'm happy. That's all it takes. Thank you for watching. If you liked, subscribe. The Vegeta Saiyan Army Facebook page is poppin'. We're posting memes. Dude, the other day they posted reveals for the new anniversary box, and there were like 10 or 20 Vegeta Saiyan Army boys in there trying to make Vegeta great again. We're asking for a new Vegeta leader. I want to make every video I make about Vegeta because he's the best character in Dragon Ball. But like, I also want to give you guys good good advice. And this deck is really good, the Sin Shenron, and the Green Goku is so good, and so is Vegex. And like, I want to make a deck list about explosive power Vegeta, of course, but he's just not as good as these cards. I want a good Vegeta deck. I want a good leader. And anytime they do like a reveal, I'm going to try to ask politely, ask nicely, because Bandai has to see that there's a demand for a Vegeta leader. And that's where we're going to be. If you even like Vegeta remotely, even a little bit, which you should, because he's amazing, join the Vegeta Saiyan Army. We try to keep the conversation of Vegeta, but the game is big and we love the game, so we really talk about every deck. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.